Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking an incredibly vivid cinematic text from the ancient Mahabharata that honestly genuinely rivals any modern blockbuster you'd see on the big screen today. I mean, we're looking at a story that blends ancient mythology with what almost feels like science fiction. We've got massive monsters, impenetrable armor, and an underwater world that is just as beautiful as it is terrifying. So, let's get right into it. So what happens when an ancient hero descends into a hidden underwater city of demons? Let's dive straight into the abyss and find out. We'll be following Arjuna, who's basically one of ancient literature's greatest warriors, along with his charioteer, Matali. But they aren't just crossing a normal battlefield here. They are physically descending deep beneath the earth and the sea, heading right into hostile territory to see exactly what happens when these two realms collide. Moving into Act 1, the descent. The inexhaustible Lord of Waters. Our scene opens in a breathtaking ocean, described in the text as the inexhaustible Lord of Waters. And wow, just look at the sheer scale of the creatures Arjuna encounters on his way down. The text explicitly mentions Timangalas, enormous tortoises, and makaras, which are essentially these giant mythical sea monsters. But the really interesting part, notice the description. They are like unto rock submerged in water. This establishes an environment packed with massive, ancient monsters just lurking beneath the surface. It immediately lets us know that our hero is completely, unequivocally out of his normal element. Now, the deep ocean here is a landscape of wild extremes. On one hand, you have this serene, almost magical beauty. Thousands of shells glowing like stars in the night sky, and heaps of floating gems everywhere. Just gorgeous, right? But then, on the other hand, there's intense danger. Violent, chaotic whirlwinds ripping across the ocean floor. It's a beautifully alien and wondrous place for sure, yet incredibly treacherous at the exact same time. Which brings us to Act 2, the lockdown, discovering the demon city. As they spot a demon stronghold in the distance, Matali forcefully drives the chariot downward. And he doesn't try to sneak in, no way. He dashes forward, and the rattling of his chariot sounds literally like the deep rumbling of thunder. As you can imagine, it completely terrifies the city's inhabitants. In a total panic, they mistake Arjuna for a god, scramble to grab their weapons, and slam the city gate shut in a full-blown lockdown. Now, a crucial detail to take away here. These inhabitants, the Danavas, aren't just mindless beasts. They are a highly organized, weapon-wielding society fully capable of strategic defense. But more importantly, despite their massive numbers filling this entire underwater city, they are absolutely frightened at heart by the mere sound of Arjuna's approach. To put it into perspective, it's like a whole metropolis shivering at a single knock on the door. All right, Act 3, the call-out, the roar of Devadatta. So, with the gate shut tight so nothing can be seen inside, Arjuna doesn't back down. Instead, he kicks off some intense, world-shaking psychological warfare. He pulls out his legendary conch shell, Devadatta, and blows into it. As the text says, with exceeding cheerfulness. I just love that detail. He is totally, utterly confident. The blast creates a sound so immense it fills the entire firmament. And the sonic impact of this blast, it is absolutely unparalleled. The echoes are so deafening that even those massive, rock-like sea monsters we saw earlier are completely terrified and hide themselves away in fear. I mean, Arjuna is single-handedly dominating the entire soundscape of the abyss. And that leads us to Act 4, the armored swarm, rise of the Nivata-Kavachas. Well, the roaring challenge works perfectly. The gates are flung wide open, and the real threat reveals itself, the Nivata-Kavachas. These offspring of Diti don't just trickle out, they pour out by the thousands. Heavily protected in diverse, impenetrable male armor, they are absolutely primed and ready for an all-out war. And look at this arsenal. The demons unleash a literal tidal wave of ancient heavy weaponry directly at our hero. We're talking iron javelins, massive maces, flying discs, hatchets, sabers, ornamented swords, and mystical weapons like satakognis and busundis. It is just an overwhelming, deadly swarm flying straight toward him. Confronted with this whole shebang, Matali pulls a bizarre but highly cinematic maneuver. He whips the chariot across the level ground with such incredible swiftness that it actually creates a blinding blur. The text notes that owing to this immense speed, Arjuna can see absolutely nothing. It's a completely disorienting, high-octane moment right before the big clash.
Here we go. Act 5, the cosmic clash. The cosmic battle begins.
This blinding speed throws us right into the explosive climax of our explainer. And to really grasp how bizarre this battlefield is, listen to this. The demons start playing thousands of odd-shaped, dissonant musical instruments. It's an auditory assault so terrible that fish the size of hills literally have their senses bewildered and flee in terror from the bad music. I mean, it's pure chaos.
Through this wall of noise, a mighty force unleashes hundreds of thousands of sharpened shafts directly at Arjuna. The stakes here are just massive. This dreadful conflict is entirely calculated to extinguish the threat of the armored Nivata-Kavachas once and for all.
And here is where you really feel the epic scale of this text. It's a universe-altering clash. So much so that an entire audience of cosmic sages, Devarshis, Danavas, Brahmarshis, Siddhas, and Munis actually gather around just to watch. They even begin praising Arjuna with the exact same sweet speeches they used for the gods during legendary celestial wars. So as this magnificent battle rages under the watchful eyes of the cosmos, with hundreds of thousands of weapons blacking out the sky, we are left completely on the edge of our seats. How can one single hero possibly survive, let alone win against this endless army of heavily armored demons? What you should really take away from this explainer is that human storytelling hasn't actually changed all that much. The ancient imagination possessed the exact same massive scale, psychological suspense, and spectacular action sequences that we crave in modern blockbusters today. It really makes you wonder, if ancient texts like the Mahabharata were delivering these high-stakes, sci-fi battles thousands of years ago, what other mind-bending worlds are just waiting in the archives for us to rediscover?